Hello everyone, Whitebox here with another game of Spirit Island. Today I'm going to be trying to tackle the Kingdom of Sweden level 6 using Shroud of Silent Mist. It's been a while since I played Shroud of Silent Mist, I'm terrible with them, but I've heard that this matchup is not too bad. One of the easier level 6 matchups for Shroud, so I'm going to try to give it a chance. See if I can get my first level 6 adversary win with this spirit, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to go ahead and flip my initial explorer. It's going to be mountains. Then I'm also going to discard a card for royal backing. It's going to be wetland. So with royal backing, during setup after adding all other invaders, discard the top card of the invader deck and on each board, add one town to an adjacent land, or to the land of that terrain with the fewest invaders. So that'll be right there. It's a little dangerous starting where the blade is, but it means that that's not going to come up in stage 1, so that's okay. Alright, so what's happening here? They're going to build in mountains and then ravage. So I probably don't have to worry about land 1. I can just let that go and worry about it later. So I do want to do something about land A6. Another thing that I want to do is try to group up all of Dahan in 1 or 2 lands to avoid the Sweden escalation. So if I can stop the escalation from mattering, it's going to make this matchup a lot easier. So let's throw this right here, I think. Just so I remember that. And yeah, we'll figure out what I want to do. So I can probably stop the Ravage in land A6 pretty easily. I could even maybe push out the guy who's there. It might be worth grabbing a miner just to see if I can do something about that. The other thing is getting miners is one way that I get energy, so it's going to be really important to get some miners throughout the game. So, really getting powers is how I get energy, but it'll be a while before I get a major with this spirit. So my minor choices here, I'll fan them out. I've got Savage Maw Beasts. It has fire, which means I'm not taking it. I definitely don't want cards that have fire. I've got Scour the Land, adds Blight, which I don't love, but destroys towns, which could be pretty good. Call of the Dahan Ways is nice. Good elements as well. And Sunset's Fire, it's got fire, so I'm not taking that. And actually, I'm going to take Call of the Dahan Ways. A pretty easy choice for me. Getting more Dahan on the board is going to make it easier for me to avoid the Sweden effect, and I'll be able to replace towns with Dahan. Towns do extra damage, so that's going to be really good. So I'll probably just let them build in A6, and then in the slow phase, I'll go ahead and convert that over to a Dahan. So I do get 1 energy for gaining a card without fire. Put my energy under my portrait. I'm going to go ahead and take from bottom, so I can get to 2 card plays, because I want the second moon to pair with Call of the Dahan Ways. I don't need a Sacred Site, really, so I'll probably start spreading around the map a little bit. I'll go over there. I still just have the 1 energy, so I'm going to play Call of the Dahan Ways, and Flowing in Silent Forms dart by. And what threshold of my innate will this hit? I don't have 2 air, so I won't get the 1 damage from Suffocating Shroud, which isn't great, but I'll get some fear from Flowing in Silent Forms dart by, and I'll also be able to push some Dahan, so that's okay. So yeah, that's fine. So I have 1 fast power, I have Flowing in Silent Forms dart by. I could use that to move some of my presence around, but I don't think that I really need to. So I'll just use it here, generate 2 fear, and that'll be fine. So going into the invader phase, I'm going to flip an event, but not resolve it, and then go to the build. Alright, after the build is the Explorer. Exploring into jungle. Alright, and then the slow pace. So in the slow phase, I'm going to use Call of the Dahan Ways over on A6. To convert that guy into a Dahan. Then I also have Lost in the Swirling Haze at the first level. I can use that to push a Dahan. And I'm going to have to do something about land A8 pretty quickly, but I think I'll be able to do that next turn, so that's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and push. Yeah, there's a lot of doubled up Dahan, so I think that'll be alright. I'm just going to push this Dahan into A3. They'll build. Hopefully they don't explore jungle next turn, because then they would get that guy. Okay. I think it'll be fine, so that's okay. So that's going to be my turn. I will discard cards. And go back to growth. And I wouldn't mind doing a growth 3 again. Gaining another power card, getting energy, because I am very poor. Time passes, I don't get any fear from that, because I didn't have any damaged invaders yet, but that's okay. So I might have to gain a power card and get from top so I can get 2 energy this turn. So let's do that. I'm going to go 3 again. Gaining another miner. Alright, this time my choices are Cycles of Time and Tide is very good. Also adds Dahan, so that's excellent. Disorienting Landscape does have moon and air, so that's good. Can push explorers, which is great. And add wilds. I like that too. Delusions of Danger's not bad. These all cost 1. The only one I'm not going to get is Purifying Flame because it has fire on it. So I'm between all of these, all of which I think are good. Good choices. Adding more Dahan is good, but I think I want the air for now. So I'm going to take Disorienting Landscape. Although Cycles of Time and Tide would let me remove the Blight from A1 after it gets added there next turn, or this turn. What am I going to be playing? Probably Dissolving Vapors. I need the 2 energy. Oh. Maybe the Fog closes in. So which one's better? Yeah, that's a tough choice. Fog closes in. If I play Fog closes in, I can do 1 damage to each. Delusions of Danger will let me hit the first level of that. So I think I do like Disorienting Landscape. As much as I would like to remove Blight that gets added here, I think I can work around it. And adding Dahan is fantastic, obviously, but I think Disorienting Landscape is going to be better this turn. So, tough choice, but I do like it. So, let's go with that. I'm going to add a presence from top. I gain an energy for getting a card that doesn't have fire. I'm going to add a presence from top and go into A5. So I get 1 energy from presence. And I'm going to play Disorienting Landscape, as well as the Fog closes in. Means I won't have Lost in the Swirling Haze, but I think that's alright. Okay. So that is that. Let's go to fast powers. So I'm going to use Disorienting Landscape here. Push this guy into A2. And then since that land is a mountain or jungle, I add a wilds. And then that's my fast power. So that wilds there could stop a coastal explorer or a jungle explorer next turn. So it's going to be really good. So event. I've got Healthy Islands, so seek new farmland, and each land with 2 or more towns. Push 1 town to a land without a town. Okay, don't love that. But that means this guy goes there. Yeah, don't like that. Then plagues bring fear and death. 1 fear per board with disease. On each board, 2 damage to Dahan in a land with disease. No Dahan are in that land, so that's okay. And engage on their own terms. During the Ravage, Dahan do only 1 damage each, but deal damage before the invaders. No fear card yet, so I go straight to the Ravage. They're going to Ravage here and Blight. And since they successfully ravaged, when ravaging adds at least one blight to a land, also add 1 town to an adjacent land without towns and cities. Fortunately, I can choose the order that the ravage happens in, so I'm going to have the ravage happen here first, so they don't add a town there. So that will kill this guy. Although actually, it might be better to let that happen first, because Dahan are going to be doing damage before the explorers. So I can use that to get some fear. Interesting, okay. So yeah, I'll do that Ravage in A1 first, which means that they would add a town here into A6. A6 is going to Ravage. Dahan do damage before invaders this turn, so they will do 2 damage, killing this town. Getting me a fear card. Okay. Then, so they Ravaged. Build in jungle. And explore coastal. Alright. Yeah, so that A1 is an issue. I'll have to deal with that coming up soon. Okay. But I'll have a fear card for next turn. It should be okay. Alright, now I'll go to slow powers. I'm going to do... let's see... So I have Suffocating Shroud, first level, as well as the Fog Closes In. So I'm going to use the Fog Closes In here on A8. I'm going to gather using Mist, Shift, and Flow, and I'll do 1 damage to a different invader for each adjacent land with my presence, which is 2. I'll do a damage to each of those. Then I will use Suffocating Shroud somewhere. Let's go in there. And I'll use Suffocating Shroud there to damage that town. Alright, and yeah, that's going to be my slow powers. So time passes, I'll discard cards. And during time passes, I get 1 fear per land of mine with damaged invaders, so that's 2 fear. Fortunately, don't get the energy just yet. I need a 3rd land with damaged invaders for that. Okay, so I think that's set. Let's go back to a new turn. So turn 3. So I need to play Unnerving Paul this turn to stop that Ravage over an A8, which is fine. I could do Dissolving Vapors as well, that would be pretty nice, but I don't have the energy to do both. I might have to take another power card to get some energy. Also puts off the reclaim, which is nice. So yeah, let's do Growth 3 again. take another minor. I'm still getting good choices. So Rain of Blood's fantastic. It'll let me rush through the Fear deck. Flow Down River, Blow Down Wind. I can push Blight and push Explorers or Towns. That's not bad either. Devouring Ants doesn't have good elements. Portents of Disaster is free. Actually, all of these are free, which is good. Not taking Devouring Ants. It does do damage, but otherwise not super useful. So I want one of these. All of them are good. I think I like Rain of Blood more. Although Flow Down River, Blow Down Wind does have some nice control. Well, let's take Rain of Blood. 3 Fear is good. Alright, so I get an energy for that. I get 1 energy for presence. I also get to place... I think I'm going to place from... bottom. Actually top. That gets me the water. Which is probably worth it. Yeah, I think it is. I'll go there. Yeah, because that'll let me push 1 Dahan, which is going to be good. Potentially. They're all kind of spread out, though. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. Then I will get 1 energy for presence. And play Rain of Blood and Unnerving Paw. Okay. So, let's go into fast powers. I have Unnerving Paw. I'm going to use Unnerving Paw up in land A8. It's 1 Fear, and up to 3 damaged invaders do not participate in Ravage. Alright, that's it. So now I go to an event. I've got Coastal Towns Multiply. On each board, add 1 town to a coastal land adjacent to a coastal town. Which is only A2. A2 is an issue. I'm gonna have to do some damage there. Maybe I might have to let it ravage. I'm not sure. Okay. Then Explorer's Blunder. On each board, destroy 2 explorers among lands with beasts. That's pretty good. And Coming of Age. On each board, add 1 Dahan to a land with Dahan and no blight or disease. Okay. So A6 and A7, both at risk of the Sweden escalation. So both good candidates to get this town, or get this Dahan. I think I'd rather avoid that Sweden escalation in A7 since there's already a town there. So let's go and put that there. Fear card is Flee the Pestilent Land. Each player removes 1 explorer or town from a land with disease. Okay. Remove this town. That's important. Yeah, that's good. Okay, and then I go to the invader phase. So they're going to ravage in jungles. Nothing happens. Empty here. They're just doing 1 damage here. Build in coastal. And explore jungle. Okay. So a jungle explorer is actually pretty good. It doesn't proc the escalation from Sweden, and that jungle A3 still going to take care of itself in the ravage, so I don't have to worry about it. I do have to worry about A2 and A1; those are issues, but not having to worry about A3 is really good. All right. So now I go to slow powers. I'm going to use Rain of Blood. Just on this land, it's 3 Fear. I've also got Lost in the Swirling Haze. Don't know that I want to push the Han around. I could start getting them into A8 maybe. Convert one of the explorers to a town. That might be worth it. Yeah, let's do that. Move there. Push that guy there. I also have Suffocating Shroud, which I will use in A2 to do 1 damage. Alright, so I'm done. Discard cards. Time passes. I now have 3 lands with Damaged Invaders, so that's 3 fear. And that gets me an energy, finally. My energy and fear farms are up and running, at least for the time being. I'm probably going to have to reclaim, but I think I'm okay with that, since I've actually got some energy now, because I'm definitely going to need to skip a Ravage. I might not be able to, though. Yeah, I really needed to do damage over an A1 as well. But that's how it goes. I am going to have a couple fear cards. Might be able to push to Terror level 2 before the Ravage, so I can bank on that a little bit. So I think I'm good. We'll see. Alright, so yeah, let's reclaim so I can get... Although, if I gain a power card, I could gain... Major's not going to be worth it at this point. Yeah, I'll reclaim. Gain a minor. So my minors this time, I've got Entrancing Apparitions, defend 2. Not a lot against Sweden, but it does have perfect elements for me. Uncanny Melting, decent elements, can remove Blight, do Fear, that's okay. Teeming Rivers, remove Blight, it's okay. And Hear the Monsters is Fear, push, it does a bunch of things. I think I like Entrancing Apparitions here. I could get... it's going to do 8 damage. I could potentially get a lot of defend over into A1. Yeah, let's see what happens. I do only have 2 card plays, unfortunately. But I gain a card with no fire, so I get an energy. I also have an energy for presence. Definitely going to have to work my way up to 3 card plays pretty soon. Probably going towards that next. Okay. So let's do Entrancing Apparitions. Well, let's do Flowing in Silent Forms Dart By and Unnerving Paul. And I can try to... Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Okay. So that's going to be 1 energy. And I'll go into fast powers. So I've got Flowing in Silent Form Start By. I'm going to use that on A1. Yeah, I think that's the way to do it. So 2 fear if invaders are present. 2 fear. And when presence in target land would be destroyed, say invader may instead push that presence. So that's fine. And then A2, I'm going to use Unnerving Paul, so that's a fear. So I do have 3 Terror level 2 fear cards, which is quite nice. And it's going to be... Well, That power's used. Yeah, let's go with up to 3 damage invaders do not participate in Ravage, so it's still going to do 2 damage, and we'll hope that one of these Fear cards or the event will help me out with that. Okay. So that's fast powers. Let's go to the event. Civic Engagement. On each board, remove 1 strife. If you can't, invaders do +1 damage per land when ravaging in lands with towns and cities. Casualties of Fang and Sting. On each board, destroy 1 explorer or 1 explorer or town on a land with beast. Okay. And keep far from the lands of plague. On each board, push 3 to Han from lands with disease to lands without. No disease on the board, so that's fine. 3 fear cards, tier level 2. I've got Unrest. Each player adds 1 strife to a town. For the rest of this term, invaders have -1 health per strife to a minimum of 1. That would kill the town over an A8, which is probably okay. Makes it a little bit easier to deal with next turn, I think. Yeah. So I'll put it under that town. It's got 1 health. It already had 1 damage, so it dies. I got a fear. Isolation. Each player removes 1 explorer or town from a land with 2 or fewer invaders. Let's go with... And Discord. Each player adds 1 strife in a different land with at least 2 invaders. Then each invader takes 1 damage per strife that it has. Alright, well, let's do that there. That invader takes a damage. And dies. So unfortunately didn't get anything done about a 1, but that's alright. So I'll hit a Blighted Island this turn. Just not good at managing this spirit very well. Alright, so Discord's done. Let's go to the Ravage. Here, just 1 damage to a Dahan. This guy dies. Here, that city is not participating in the Ravage. Oh, invaders do +1 damage per land when ravaging in lands with towns and cities. Shoot. Could I have done anything different? So they're actually going to do 2 damage over an A2. It's still going to blight. I lose presence. They successfully ravaged, which means that they'll add a town to an adjacent land without towns and cities. So that means I'm going to have to deal with A3 next turn. And then A1 is going to ravage as well. There's that guy there. That gets me to a Pall upon the land. Well, I've got an Unnerving Pall, so that's already good. So it's going to be immediately on each board, destroy 1 presence and remove 1 town. That's okay. I want to remove this town. Now I'll remove this presence, I guess. It's got 3 blight, but 1 of that blight is going to be cascaded into A6. So this board's looking pretty ugly. I should have just taken some blight removal instead. Alright, that was the Ravage. Next is the build. So they will build a town up here. And then explore in wetlands. Alright, no escalation, which is good. So I'll go to slow powers here. I do have Suffocating Shroud, as well as Lost in the Swirling Haze. Tricky. I kind of want to get that guy out of there. So let's do, move this guy here. Push that to Han into that land. And I would like to do the damage somewhere else, but I think I need to do it over in A8 so that I can deal with that next turn. Again, with Unnerving Paw, which is an issue. I don't really want to be stuck on relying on that, but I kind of am at this point. So damage that. Yeah, that's it. So time passes, I'll discard cards. Alright, I have 2 lands with damaged invaders, so I get 2 fear. No energy, though. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to reclaim again. I don't love it. Let's gain a major. My control wasn't good enough this game. I let it get out of hand, but it's still salvageable, so we'll see what happens. I've got Winds of Rust and Atrophy. That's a pretty good one. Power Storm and Vengeance of the Dead both have fire, so they're out. And Accelerated Rot's not really great unless you can hit the threshold, I don't think, and I'm not going to. So, Winds of Rust and Atrophy, easily the choice here. And I'm just going to forget. I think Disorienting Landscape. Alright, I get an energy for that. I get 1 energy for presence. And I don't have to use Winds of Rust and Atrophy this turn. I can save it till next turn, so that's fine. And I would be able to repeat it as well, potentially. So that means it is going to save me from being in this reclaim cycle, which is not a great one, next turn. So that'll be good. So I do still need, let's see, probably Entrancing Apparitions and Unnerving Paw. Yeah, let's do that. So Entrancing Apparitions and Unnerving Paw. I still can. Yeah, I have good cards to threshold Winds of Rust and Atrophy, so that's fine. Okay. Alright, so that's the play. Cool. Not ideal, but it'll work. So Unnerving Paw is going up here, up to 2 damaged invaders do not participate in Ravage, and I'm also going to use Entrancing Apparitions up there to defend 2. And I get a fear for Unnerving Paw. Alright, event. I have a Blighted Island. Force right away, get a Blighted Island event. It's going to be Blight Deepens. On each board, add 1 Blight to a land with Blight, but do not cascade. Spirits may prevent this on any all boards by destroying 1 presence from each board to be protected. I'm down a little bit low on presence, but I'm going to be getting some this turn. Oh, I needed to move that guy in there. But I don't love the idea of only having 2 presents on the board. I think it'll be okay. So I'll destroy this one. Alright, so that's that. Now, Irregular Outbreaks, ignore Plague on disease. When fear per board with Plague, there's no disease. Careful Defense, when Raiders Ravage, if the land has Tahan, defend 2. Okay. Fear. Tahan attack. Each player chooses a different land with Tahan, 1 damage per Tahan there. So I'm going to do this one. Get a fear. Okay, so let's see, what was going on here? So, they're going to the Ravage. So they're going to Ravage here. It's defended 4 now. The city and town are not participating in the Ravage. The Explorers are, but they get overwhelmed by the defense that on. Alright, so I can move those. Alright, build in wetland. And explore into mountains, my last stage 2 card. So I'm glad I moved the Dahan out of A6 so I didn't get the annoying issue of things happening. So that's good. Alright, so yeah, no escalation still, so let's go into the slow phase. I do have Lost in the Swirling Haze, so I can push a 1 Dahan. It's not super useful. I guess I might be defending A5, so could be good to get a guy in there. So let's do that. Gather in there, push Dahan into A5. And I've got Suffocating Shroud as well. And I'll probably want to... Let's see. Not going to get a lot of fear from this turn, potentially. I think it might be okay.
I hear you, Mickey. Would you like to come back up?
Yeah. I think I'll just do that over in A8. And I'll damage that city to get it down to 1 health. Time passes.
Percy, no. Hey.
I get 2 fear, no energy unfortunately. And I'm back to growth. So, I would like to threshold Winds of Rust and Atrophy this turn so I can play it on both of my wetlands. It's going to be quite good. But in order to do that, shoot, I would need 3... Yeah, I'm too far away from 3 card plays. I've messed this game up royally. Man, okay. So I'm not going to be able to threshold that. Oof, okay. Alright, well, we'll see what happens. I definitely need more presence down on the board, so I'm going to do this. Go from bottom. Cat, what are you doing in here? I get 1 energy. Hello, Cat. I'm going to do Winds of Rust and Atrophy. Really, I just need so much right now. Okay. Let's do Call of the Dahan Ways as well, and hope something good happens. Actually, Fast Phase Fear, probably better. So I'll do Flowing in Silent Form, start by. Okay. This turn's not gonna be great, I don't think. Let's go with Winds of Rust and Atrophy. I'm gonna target that on A2. Go away, cat. Turn this city into a damaged town. It's also going to defend 6 there. And 1 fear. Flowing in Silent Form, start by. Into A5, and that's 2 fear. Alright, and yeah, then this could be the end of me. So let's go to an event. Another blighted island one. Widening destruction on each board. Add one blight to a land with or adjacent to towns and cities. Spirits may prevent this on any and all boards by destroying 2 presents from each board to be protected. Yeah. So let's go with those 2. Grim Toll on each board. Choose a land with disease. There's no disease. Candy defense during Ravage on every land. Defend 1 per Dahan in that land. Okay. Depopulation on each board. Remove a town. So, I think either way I lose. Because I don't have enough defense over an A5. So, it's defended 6, but they're doing 8 damage there. Yep. Alright. Ravage. Here. There. They do 8 damage. It's defended 6, so by 1, they are able to blight. That was the second time that land did 1 extra damage than it needed in order to blight. And I blight out. So, lose this game. I think I'm going to replay this matchup. I'm just not very good with the spirits, so getting more practice with them will be helpful. I definitely just didn't get my control out as much as I needed to. And that's one thing that the spirit should be pretty good against Sweden with. I got really good power card draws, just didn't use them very well, I don't think. Alright, so yeah, that was devastating. That was a 22-point game, not great. I don't lose against Sweden 6 very often either, so that is rough. So I think I'm going to run this back, give it a little salty run back. Just need more presence out, so that I don't have to get stuck reclaiming a couple times in a row early. That definitely hurts this spirit. Probably could have gone for some double presences in the beginning instead of just going growth 3. I'm not sure. It's tough. I'm not very good with this spirit, so it'll take a little playing around to get better with them. But we'll see what happens. So if I end up putting this video up, I hope you enjoyed it. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see everybody next week. Hello everyone, Whitebox here with another game of Spirit Island. This is going to be a run back from the last game, which I lost. I'm going to give it another shot. See if I can get a win with Shroud of Silent Mists against the King of Sweden level 6. If I fail this one too, I might just need to accept that I'm terrible at Shroud and maybe do some lower level games just to really figure them out. But I think last game I got pretty good luck with card draws and pretty bad luck with events, so it should have evened out. Instead, I just lost very quickly. So I'm going to give it another shot and see if I can do a little bit better this time. So let me flip my initial Explorer. It's going to be Mountains. So I think that's the same as last time. Then I'll do the royal backing. It is Sands. Use invaders, so that'll be right there. And then I'm ready to get started. So similar thing as last time, I might want to protect the Dahan in A6, or I could just let them go, but I don't want both those lands to blight. That would be the big thing. I think the biggest issue that I had last game was that I didn't grow enough. I just didn't get enough presence on the board. But I do think I need to do growth 3 and gain a power card. So that is what I'm going to start with. So let's see what I've got. I've got Haunted by Primal Memories. It's got decent elements. Defend is nice. Defend 3 could potentially save A1, which could be good. It's not free though. So the only free card that doesn't have fire here is Call to Guard, which I never really get much use out of. I've heard it's good, so maybe I should actually give this one a shot. So it's gather up to 1 Dahan, then if Dahan are present, either defend 1 per Dahan, or after invaders are added or moved to target land, 1 damage to each added or moved invader. Which could be pretty good with Shroud. It's got air, which I like. It's free, which I like. I probably made a mistake last time going for 1-cost cards. So that's okay. Yeah, the free part is pretty good, and Gathering Dawn potentially really nice. Yeah, so let's go with Call to Guard. As I gain that, I get an energy. And I get to add a presence to a mountain or wetland. And I feel like I might need to underplay and go for a bigger play next time, but getting to 3 card plays just takes a while. I could do it in 2 turns if I go, well, let's see, if I go 1 from bottom, then double growth next turn, then 1 from bottom again. So I could potentially get to 3 card plays by turn 3. That might be the way to go. I'll need to underplay a little bit. And I'm going to be pretty starved for energy if I do this, but it might be the best thing to do. Yeah, I don't really have a good way to push stuff around. Okay. 1 damage to each damaged or removed invader. Okay. Alright, I can maybe make that work a little bit. And I can use Call to Guard in the fast phase next turn, which might be better. Oh, it's free, so I can do it. So I'm going to go from... I'm actually going to go from top, and then I think I'll try to do Growth 2 twice from bottom to get to 3 card plays the next 2 turns. That way, this will at least get me some energy income so I can start increasing, which might be necessary. So let's go from top. I get 1 energy from presence. I'm going to play Call to Guard, which I just gained, and I'm ready for fast powers. So my only fast power here is Call to Guard. I'm going to... yeah, that's fine. So I'm going to target land number A1, gather 1 Dawn, and then do this second effect. So after invaders are added or moved to target land, 1 damage to each added or moved invader. Alright, so that's... yeah. I know, you're a sad dog. Alright, so that's what I'm going to do. Alright, so that's good. Let's flip an event just for timing. Then I go to the invader phase. They'll build a couple of towns. Let's see if I can do anything about that. Then we'll explore into jungle. That's kind of dangerous because of A8, but we'll see what happens. And then I'm ready for slow powers. I don't have any, so I'll just discard cards. And then go back to growth. So with growth here, I want to do growth 2. Oh, sorry. This was added here, so that would have gotten damaged. And because I have presence there, and damaged invader at the end of the turn, I do get 1 fear. So that worked out okay. Alright, so that's fine. Let's go to the fast to the next phase. So I want to go with growth 2, so I can go 2 from bottom. It'll be a bit of a sacrifice here, but I really just need to get presence out. Getting to go for the 3 card plays feels necessary, but otherwise it would take so long with this spirit. And then I need to underplay because I need to play 3 card plays next turn, I think. So maybe just Unnerving Paul. Can I get away with that? Well, let's get my 1 energy. I'm gonna sacrifice a to Han, but I think that's alright. Might be giving up too much doing this. But let's do it. Defend that 3 instead. Okay, cool. So I'll do that. That's 1. And let's see what happens. So I'm going to do 1 fear. I'm going to target land A1, moving a presence in there. And I'm going to defend that 3. And that's my turn. So I'll go into the invader phase. I've got an event. Numinous Crisis. So the spiritual energy of the island weakens as life's connections grow ever more tattered. You may remove 1 blight per player from the blight card. Then if blight card is not flipped, keep removing until it's gone. Gain 3 energy per blight removed. So that'd be 9 energy. The problem is I'm playing against Sweden and I'm giving up a Ravage this turn. Or I can pour my energy into the island, which I cannot really afford to do. So, yep. I guess I could return 1 presence to my presence tracks, go to top. How much energy will I have next turn? Not enough to play all my cards, if I do that. Oh, where was my disease? That should have been there. Okay. That'll get me a fear this turn, so it's important. I'll defend 2. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I've got to draw strength from it while I can, so I'm going to just remove this 3 blight. Gain 9 energy. Which does solve my energy problems for the rest of the game, but I also get a blighted island. So I've got Untended Land Crumbles, each invader phase on each board. Add 1 blight to a land adjacent to blight. Spirits may prevent this on all boards. Each board to be protected requires jointly paying 3 energy or destroying 1 presence. I think the Blighted Island card happens first before event, so this won't happen until next turn, so that's okay. So 4 blight per player. Okay. So that's not actually that bad. We'll see what happens. Plague's been Fear and Death. I get 1 fear. And then when Invaders Ravage, if land has to Han, defend 2. Not enough, though. Alright, so this is defended 5. The Han will fight back and kill that. Gets me a fear card. A6 is defended 2. They're doing 4 damage, though. I get 1 blight. Then we go to jungles. They're going to build. And I'm going to have to defend A8 somehow. Otherwise, I'm just going to lose right away. So we'll see. And then explore wetlands with escalation. Escalation, fortunately, does not matter. So that's good. I just don't know how to deal with this spirit. Okay. So that's that. I have no slow power, so I'll reset and go back to growth. I don't hit any of those. Yeah, so that's that. Growth. Let's try this. Well, I have a bunch of energy now, so let's go for a major. Yeah. I've got Entwine Power. Not super useful right now. Unrelenting Growth. The rest of them all have fire. Wow, that's a pretty terrible major draw for me. I'm not going to get all of those elements. I mean, I get 2 power cards with Infinite Power. It's okay, I guess. Yeah, it's hoping for something a little bit better. Nothing that gets me fear right now. Okay. Not a great draw. I'll just gain Twine Power, I guess. Forget Call the Guard. This is gonna be a quick game. Alright, go from bottom. Up there. And I have, like, nothing I can do. So, let's go with... Fog closes in, or, Entwine Power and Flowing in Silent Forms dart by. Okay. I get 1, 2 energy. Okay, let's use Entwine Power on myself. I'll gain a power card. Let's gain Majors. I'll actually gain 2. Again, 3 with fire. That's great. So the only one with no fire is Manifest Incarnation, which is a great card. So I'll take that, I guess. Well, I can only gain energy from gaining a power card once per turn, so that doesn't even matter too much. But the rest of these are pretty trash for me. So I will go with Manifest Incarnation. I'll just forget. I guess I get 2. Spill Bitterness into the Earth. I'll just forget that one. Yeah, I'm just going Manifestation. I'll forget Unnerving Paul. Flowing in Silent Forms dart by. Let's go in there. 2 fear if invaders are present. And then yeah, that's all I got. So let's go to an event. Invested Aristocracy. After the Ravage step on each board, if no blight was added, then that's not going to happen. Prey on the Heatless, in each board with beasts, 1 damage per beast. Coming of Age, on each board, add 1 Dahan to a land with 2 or more Dahan. Sure. Fear card. Quarantine. This board does not affect coastal lands, and I lose, because Ravage here generates 3 blight, and there's only 3 blight left on the card. So, yeah, that was a quick game. I might not put this one up. I think I could just reset and try again. I don't know. I need to figure out how to play this stupid spirit, so I might read a guide or something for once. Yeah, that was pretty miserable, so I'm just going to reset and probably try again. Hello everyone, this is Whitebox here with another game of Spirit Island, and this is going to be my 3rd attempt at stubbornly playing Shroud of Silent Mists, trying to figure them out against Sweden 6. I've got everything set up, so I'm just going to get straight into it. Flip my initial Explore, it's Jungle this time. So that lands A8 could be an issue, but we'll see what happens with it. And then I do my Royal Backing. So Royal Backing is going to be Mountain. So an extra town in one of these lands. Throw it on the coast. Okay. So with that, okay, I think can maybe make this work. So the last 2 games I've started by going Growth 3, and it has not been working for me. So I'm going to mix it up a little bit. Growth 2, and I think I'm going to take both from top, and start unlocking elements earlier and see if that does better for me than I have been doing. And I want to deal with that corner so I don't let it cascade and do a double blight. So with that in mind, let's see, I get 1 energy as part of my presence. And I'm going to do the fog closes in. And I should be able to use that to deal with land A8 next turn. Pretty sure. Alright. So that's that. Going quick, because I've played the first couple turns of this matchup a few times now. So that's that. I'm going to in the invader phase, so I will flip a card. And then go straight into the build. After the build, they're going to explore in wetlands. That's probably okay. And then I go to slow powers. So I have a couple slow powers here. I do have Lost in the Swirling Haze. Don't have Suffocating Shroud just yet, but I will use Lost in the Swirling Haze. I'm going to gather a presence in here, and then push this guy into land A5. Then I'm going to gather this guy in there and use the fog closes in. So for each adjacent land with my presence, 1 damage to a different invader. So I'll damage, I have 3 lands with presence adjacent to that. So I get to do 1 damage to all 3 buildings. Alright. So that's that. Then at the end of the turn, time passes. I have 1 land with damaged buildings, so I get 1 fear for that. Then I'll discard cards. And reset to go back to growth. So with growth this time, can I get away with doing another double growth? Maybe. I can get 2 energy with this and unlock 2 card plays, which is probably really good. I think the 2 energy might be good. Gaining a power card, I'm between growth 2 and growth 3. I think each of them is probably okay. If I gain something without water, and that would probably put off my reclaim, potentially. But it does make it slower to unlock that extra air on top, and I'm probably going to need that. I think I've been just too slow getting presence out, and yeah, I think it'll be better to get some more elements. So what do I need this turn? I need to play Unnerving Paw for sure. That's going to stop the Ravage from happening over in A8, so that's pretty necessary. Then I have Flowing in Silent Forms dart by. I might need to... I won't be able to play Dissolving Vapors this turn because I won't have the energy for that. So if I do Flowing in Silent Forms dart by and Unnerving Paw, it's got decent elements. It doesn't have a 3rd water though, so that's annoying. And it wouldn't give me the 2nd level of Suffocating Shroud, although I would get the 1st level, so that's at least something. So it might be better to gain a power card and see if I can get something to complement Flowing in and Silent Forms dart by, and then I'll be able to potentially put off the reclaim. So let's do that. Gain a power card. Need to gain something that doesn't have fire, so I can get the energy for it. So not gaining Territorial Strife right away. It's got fire. I'm ignoring it. So the rest of these are probably pretty good. Set them in an ever-twisting trail is nice. I'll be able to stop the build in A5, which means I won't have to worry about that next turn. Cycles of Time and Tide is pretty good. It's got moon and water. No air, though. Removing Blight's probably going to be important. Haunted by Primal Memories would let me defend A3 potentially, and it's got good elements. Does Fear. I think I like that. Yeah, okay. So I'm going with Haunted by Primal Memories. won't get extra fear for animals, but that's okay because it'll defend that, save those Dahan, counterattack. Yeah, that'll be good. So as I gain that card, it has no fire, so I get an energy. I get an energy for presence as well. Get to add a presence. I'm going from bottom, and I'll throw this into here. All right. Yep. 2 card plays. So let's play Haunted by Primal Memories and Unnerving Paw. Okay, I think I'm good to go. So I'm going to use Unnerving Paw up in A8. That means that I get 1 fear, and up to 3 damaged invaders do not participate in Ravage. Then I'm going to use Haunted by Primal Memories over here in A3. That's another fear, and defend 3. Oh, pay for these. Alright, I think that's okay. So that's, yeah, that's that. So fast powers are done. I'm going to go to an event. Dahan trade with the invaders. So some seek knowledge, others are more interested in tools and trade goods, still others simply curious. All hope to avoid violence, and the invaders seem amenable, at least for now. I may ignore their interest. Dahan do not participate in ravages this turn. I can display my wrath at their betrayal, cost is 2 energy per player, aided by fire, which I cannot afford. Or change and help them learn from the enemy. 6 energy per player, aided by air, which I could potentially afford by forgetting something. And Dahan do not participate in ravages this turn. Each spirit player gets a power card, and for the next turn on, each Dahan provides defend 1 in its land. Which I don't mind, except against Sweden, defend 1 per Dahan. Still potentially okay, but I think it's hard to make that work. So instead, I'm going to do Dahan do not participate in ravages this turn, which is annoying. It stops the counterattack there, but it is what it is. Outbreak Shift. On each board, push 1 disease to the adjacent land with the most invaders. Minimum of 1. Alright. Don't love that. And then we go to the invader phase. So right here they do 3 damage, not enough to blight the land. Dahan are not participating in Ravage, so they don't fight back. Right here they do 1 damage, again, not enough to blight that land, so I'm good. At least survive the first Ravage. Then they're going to build in wetlands. And unfortunately, all my Dahan are pretty scattered, so I'm probably going to eat a Sweden escalation here. We'll see. It's going to be sands, so yeah, I will. That's not great. And then I go to slow powers. So slow powers, I'm going to do Suffocating Shroud in land A5. Damage that town. And then time passes. As time passes, I get fear per each land that I have with damaged invaders, which is 2. So, 2 fear. Alright. I've got 0 energy. I've got 2 ravages coming, and not much way to deal with them. So I'm going to go for another growth 3. Gain a minor. I've got Portents of Disaster. That's not bad. It's a lot of fear. Uncanny Melting potentially good as well. That's it's gonna get some stuff happening. I think I just need to take Portents of Disaster and hope that fear is gonna save me. It's free as well. Moon, air. Yeah, let's do that. Alright, banking on fear. That's kind of, I think, what this spirit has to do. Then I get to add a presence. Let's go from top. Over there. Gain 2 energy. And I'm going to do Portents of Disaster and Flowing in Silent Form start by. Portents of Disaster I'm going to use here in A5. It's 2 fear. And the next time an invader is destroyed in target land this turn, 1 fear. I'm also going to use Flowing in Silent Form start by there, so 2 fear if invaders are present. Gets me a 2nd fear card. And then when presence would be destroyed in that land, its owner may, if possible, push that presence. So that's how I'm going to play that. So that's that. Let's go to an event. Still healthy for right now. So Promising Farmland. When exploring, once per board, place 1 town instead of 1 explorer. Okay. Beast Provoked. On each board, add 1 beast to a land without blight that has a town. Okay. Cane of Defense. During Ravage in every land, defend 1 per Dahan in the land. Okay, so defended 1 there. Two fear cards. I've got Trade Suffers. Invaders do not build in lands with cities. Okay. And then Emigration Accelerates. Each player removes 1 explorer from a coastal land. Not super useful fear cards. Alright. Ravage in Wetland. They're going to do 2 damage in A2. Sorry, 9 damage. That will kill the Dahan there. Do 2 blight. There's no adjacent land that doesn't have buildings, so they don't get the Sweden 5 effect. Then we've got the Ravage over in A5, which it will cascade. It's only 1. But I've got Erosion of Will. Immediately 2 fear per player. Each spirit destroys 1 of their presence and loses 1 energy. Okay. I'll push this guy somewhere else. Let's go here. Three blight per player. This is going to cascade somewhere, so let me not put that there. I'll figure out a way to deal with that. Okay, Ravage done. Build in sands. They're not going to build in lands with cities, so that's something, I suppose. And explore in wetlands. Alright, well, this is looking like another very fast game, another very fast loss. But see what happens. Okay, I go to slow powers. Slow powers, I'm going to use Lost in a Swirling Haze somewhere, 2nd level. Let's see, I have to do something. I'm gonna use it there so I can just pull a guy in, not push anything out. Then I'll use Suffocating Shroud there to do 1 damage. And I have I've only got 2 lands with damage invaders, so that's 2 fear. This one will heal. Discard cards. And go back to growth. Not in a particularly great place right now. I think I have to reclaim. So let's do that. Do gain a power card for this. I'm going to have 3 energy this turn. 4 energy, potentially. So let's go for a major. My choices are... oh, I didn't shuffle from last game. Let me do that. I was going to say, those all look very familiar. Alright, and we'll see potentially if I can get something that will help this turn, at least stave off the loss that's about to come. Alright, so I've got Talons of Lightning, I've got 3 cards with fire, wow, okay. So the only card that doesn't have fire is Savage Transformation, so I guess I'll take that. It's not a great card, especially not in this situation. I'll forget. Terrible. I could bank on fear cards and just go for that, maybe. Yeah, I'm just not even going to take it. I'm just going to forget Savage Transformation. I at least do get an energy for it. I get 2 energy for presence. And I'll do Flowing and Silent Forms Dart by, as well as Unnerving Paw. Okay, so that's 1 energy. I'm starting to get some elements up, so at least pretty soon I'll be able to hit higher than just the first level of each of my innate. Alright, let's do it. So Flowing and Silent Forms Dart by, I'm going to use that over an A7, it's 2 fear, and when presence would be destroyed I can push it instead. We'll see if that makes a difference. Unnerving Paw, I'm going to do right here. 1 fear and up to 3 damage invaders do not participate in Ravage. Made it to Terror level 2, so I've got 2 Terror level 2 fear cards, and we'll see if those will actually save this game for me. I also had Promising Farmland last turn, so I should have explored once with a town instead of an explorer. Well, I guess I'll do that. Right there. Alright, event. Years of Little Rain. A terrible drought parches the land. I may let the plants die and the land wither. For each board, discard the top minor power, and if it lacks water, add 1 blight to its sands. That would lose me the game right away. Town, cities, and Dahan have -1 health until the end of the turn, or I can act to ease the drought. It's fear per player, aided by water, which I have 2 of right now. Yeah, I'm doing that. So I will just discard Dissolving Vapors, because it's still expensive. So that affords it. I'm going to add a presence. I think from top. Yeah, that'll unlock the 2nd level of Suffocating Shroud, so that's good. So that goes here. Okay, that's something. Beast attack. Each beast deals 2 damage. Remove any token that destroys a town or a city. Sure. Let's do, well, I could do the 2 damage to the city. I'm going to lose if it ravages, either way. So I don't want the beast to go away. If the beast is there, there's a higher chance that I'll get a fear card that will skip the ravage. So instead, I think I'm going to do 2 damage to the city. And hope that that works out. Then Candy Defense. During Ravage in every land, defend 1 per Dahan. Well, okay. Alright, 2 fear cards. They're level 2. Tread carefully. Each player may choose a land with Dahan or adjacent to at least 3 Dahan. Not a lot of Dahan left on the board, so invaders do not ravage there this turn. So unfortunately that doesn't happen. Emigration slows, skip the next normal build card remains in place instead of shifting left, also doesn't happen. Ravage happens, that one skipped, this one blights, and yet again, I blight out. Man, I just do not get this spirit, I guess. Might have to look at some guides or something. I usually don't like to do that because I like to figure out how to play things on my own. But, yeah, it's just not clicking with me. I think this is going to be my last game against a level 6 with this spirit for a while. I'm going to go back to lower difficulties and see if I can scale up instead. So, yeah, that's enough Shroud games. I think I'll take a break from them, do something else, and then I'll come back and maybe have a series where I try to learn to play this spirit, because it's just not working for me. That's okay. Not every spirit is going to click with every player, I don't think. So, if anybody else out there is struggling with a particular spirit, don't despair. I am definitely the same way, and I think this spirit in particular is just the one that I do not click with. This spirit, I would say, yeah, I would say maybe it's the spatial thing, because I think I also don't click super well with Thunder Speaker, even though I do okay. I've got a bunch of higher level wins with Thunder Speaker. I think I don't play them as well as I should, so that's another weak one for me. And then also, I think Finder is another weak one. So there's probably a theme, probably some sort of thing with the fact that they all move around quite a bit. Although I don't really have any problems with other spirits that move presence around. It's just those three. So yeah, pretty low scoring game again. Just not doing well with these. So what I'll probably end up doing is putting all three of these games with Shroud against Sweden 6 up on my channel back to back to back, so you can I'll dissect them, pick them apart, and see what I should have done differently, which I'm sure is a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I took different growth patterns each game, trying to find something that clicked, and it just never did. Never got there. So, yeah. But yeah, that's another game with Shroud. I am very much considering dropping Shroud to my F tier along with Shadows and maybe Earth as well in my next tier list. But I know there are Shroud lovers out there. So for my Shroud lovers, please give me some help. Let me know what I can do with this spirit, because at least to me, it feels like a spirit that's intended to be a late game spirit where they generate a bunch of fear and get energy from a bunch of different sources, but they don't really have a good way to get to the late game before just losing. That's kind of what it feels like to me, but I'm sure I'm playing them very poorly. But thank you for watching in any case. Yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see everybody next week with a different spirit and adversary combination.